Welcome, everyone, to the Town of Southwick Select Board meeting for May 11th, 2026. It is 6 p.m. We are in the Land Use Hearing Room at Town Hall and remotely via Zoom and on Channel 15. This open meeting is being recorded with the exception of executive session. If anyone else is recording, please advise. Sir?
Red Gore, 40 Birchwood Road, audio and video.
Clifton Clark. However, the audio is not working.
I was
I
gonna
could not
ask,
hear
is
you.
that thing on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, Cliff.
Hold, please.
Maybe
Click
it's
on the
him.
audio thing, make sure it's on
No, I had
now.
that problem last
I
week
can,
with someone
it's
else.
moving.
It's
See the
green.
green?
Yeah.
No,
See the
the,
green?
the
Huh?
arrow next to it, and make sure it's the right
Oh.
device.
Okay. Owl,
Yeah.
4+.
Sounds good now. It really does.
We
Thank
fixed
you.
it. Good job, Nadine.
All right.
Ah, you're good.
And we'll try to speak into the owl.
Make sure you record what you did.
All right, so Cliff Clark was recording, I think. All right, and,
That is correct.
all right, thank you, sir. And attendance,
Nicole Parker.
Diane Gale.
Doug Moglen.
Russ Anderson.
Nadine Signoni.
Okay, and can we stand for the pledge of allegiance? I
I
pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and then we will start with public comment
Well, there's a couple of medics here in case I took.
in the room first.
Would you like me up there?
Why not?
Sure. Dick Granel's Chair of Lake Management asked to come in, and we have an opportunity for a grant that you may have seen information on. It's the Mass DEP and a company called CEI, Comprehensive, I'm trying to remember the name. They've been around for forever on this. And what it is it's an opportunity to have the work done that's needed in order to be able to get S319 grants in the future. We have to have either a TMDL plan, which is total mass daily load plan, which is very expensive to do, or this watershed-based plan, which is 9 steps, 9 elements. And that, again, needs help to do it. It's not something that we can just write up ourselves and compete on it. The opportunity here is to have CEI actually do the work and put together this 9-element plan, the watershed-based plan. Congamond fits very well because it's all 3 ponds are impaired. They're on the Mass DEP list for impairments. We have endless data on water quality that we've taken over the decades. We have lake level information for more than 2.5 decades and water quality information for more than 2.5 decades. And that's gets us a lot of check marks. They were describing the process to obtain one of these grants. They're only going to give 2 for the Commonwealth. But when they said what you have to have, we meet all the requirements. And most of the people that were on there on this session, you know, kind of were asking, well, can we do this instead of that? And they said, no, these are hard and fast. So we do meet all of the requirements that are in the, in order to be able to input, to request the assistance of CEI to do this 9-element plan. So it costs us nothing to do this. We would wind up with a product that we can submit then to Mass DEP, which is a requirement in order to get S319 grants today, and others. It's not just that. There are other grants that are run through the Mass DEP. So it makes us eligible for a lot of grant money.
Yep.
So recommendation from Lake Management was that we pursue this, but we need, yea verily.
You are just doing a letter of intent
This is a letter of intent, right?
for them to select.
We have to give them all our qualifications in that letter. In other words, why we are a very, very good candidate for it, which we can do. We've already assembled the whole thing. And it has to be in by May, I think it's May 30th, May 27th, and we can make that, no problem.
Were we doing the 9-step plan, or were we doing?
This is the 9-step
shorter?
plan, not the TMDL.
Okay,
TMDL is very costly to do
okay.
and very complex.
That was the more extensive one.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
much more
All right.
extensive.
9-step sounds
9-step is
extensive.
sweet.
It sounds
Yeah.
extensive.
It's a
but
nice.
shorter, okay.
Yes.
All right.
And we have a lot of what has to go into that 9-step plan already. It
Yep.
just has to be put into
The right order.
the perfect words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they do. So it's great to have somebody else do it for us.
Dick, it mentions having a local champion, and there must be a committed local entity, association, municipal department, et cetera. Is Lake Management
Yes,
gonna step up and?
yes, we've
drive
already,
this
we
horse?
already said we would. And
Even as things go on?
yeah, absolutely, yes. As we've done with all the other grants, I mean, we've gotten a lot over the years. 319 grants, we've had 3 already, 4 Lakes and Ponds grants. We work, to work with DPW and whatnot as far as any work that's been done on drainage that winds up in the lake, cleaning that up. If you're gonna go in and fix something, let's do it in accordance with the Mass DEP requirements. And so we've been doing that now literally for decades. So that's a major focus of lake management's water quality. And we do take samples. That's another great thing is we take samples monthly, all the things that they need to know, the phosphorus, total phosphorus, oxygen, blah, 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 all the things that need to go into this input, we already do and have done. So we've got lots and lots of historical data. And we can also show, which is really, really good, we can show the positive impacts that we've had on the water quality by all the work that's been done, adding the separators and whatnot on outfalls that go into Congamond. And, infiltrating instead of just dumping it into the lake. So that kind of work carries a lot of points. And that's why we feel, we stand a good chance. Maybe we won't be 1 and 2, but we sure hope so.
Okay.
And it's only our time. It's not, we don't have to hire anybody to help us write what's gonna go into them.
Is that a vote or just a
I think it's.
approval to
Yeah,
submit the
just
letter of intent?
send a letter of intent, just to kind of, not just inform, but make sure that, this is something that the town would be interested in, and I think it's a great idea, and it doesn't cost anything, and they actually reached out to us. And, we have this great lake management committee who is just so dedicated to the lake, and it's just a letter of intent, or a letter of,
No idea.
interest. So
Interest.
then,
Right.
the select board will certainly get involved if it is selected. And then you will need approvals and
Right,
you'll
then
need
you-
official
if we do
agenda
get it,
items,
then
et
you have to
cetera.
approve it.
Yeah.
Does this, should you get it down the road, does this open the door to grants for treatments and
Oh, yes.
applications? and
Also
whatever?
grants for dredging.
For the dredging.
Oh, yeah, it opens a lot of doors because you have to answer so many questions in this 9-element water-based plan, watershed-based plan, that it opens up, well, here's where the phosphorus comes from, and here's where the low oxygen, and here's what contributes to it. And that gives you avenues to get funding from all different sources.
Sounds good.
Need a motion
I guess
to
that
sign the
couldn't
letter
hurt.
of intent?
Couldn't hurt.
Letter of interest,
Interest.
Yeah.
and have Dick Randall sign such letter.
Yeah,
So move.
Second.
Roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Dick.
okay,
Good luck with that.
thank you.
Okay, anybody else in the room with public comment? Is there anybody online with public comment tonight? Do we have anybody online? Don't see any. Okay, next up is a confirmation interview with Southwick career firefighter paramedic Ian Hurley for promotion to fire lieutenant.
So, good evening, everybody. So
So Ian Hurley is a familiar face. He was part of our initial interview process. So we started back in, about 14 months ago with the appointment as the department was progressing and filling the role of a first frontline supervisor as a lieutenant position here. So last April, Stephen Backman was appointed and became our first career officer in May. Over the past year, Ian's been working towards some of the goals that we had set for him. And a lot of those goals were to work with our younger department and get them to the next level. Also work towards involving his group and other groups in training. There were a couple of other things for professional development we've asked him to do, and he's done that. And then on the side, he's also done quite a bit himself. Ian loves to go, and I'm sure he can tell you a little bit about this, for specific training. So there's one particular group there called the Fools, but is a very serious firefighter training organization. It's some of the best firefighters out there training, and Ian definitely makes the effort to go there. So at this time, we'd like to put Ian forward as a candidate for lieutenant with the appointment and endorsement of the select board.
So we saw you a little over a year ago.
Indeed.
Very good interviews all around.
Thank you.
In your words, why don't you just give us a little bit more on what you've been doing and how you've gone about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good year. You know, Stephen has moved into that role very well. He's become more of a leader than he already was. Chief and I had talked, and Deputy as well, about certain things that they wanted me to work on, personally and with my group and department-wide. Obviously, Chief feels I've done those very well. I obviously like to think I've done those well. I've taken, I don't know how many, I've taken several professional development trainings. As Chief said, I've done the Fools training. So Fools means Fraternal Order of Leatherheads Society. So because traditionally the helmets were made of leather, so that's where that term comes from. So those are, they do both hands-on trainings and talking based, I can't think of the word right now.
Didactic.
Lecture, that's the word, yeah, lecture based trainings. So I've gone to several of their trainings. I'm also signed up for next week to go to a aggressive command for aggressive firefighting training for 2 days in Northbridge. And yeah, I've been on the training committee in the department, so just trying to get as many people as we can on board with as much training as we can, just to try to hold everyone to as high of a standard as we reasonably can. So I've just been working on kind of a little bit here and there of all that stuff over the last year, and I was a little surprised when Chief told me that he wanted to promote me, because I didn't know when that was slated to happen, so that was a pleasant surprise, and here we are today.
So in addition, and again, he's being modest. Ian has 14 years' experience with different departments. Started as a call firefighter in Ayer, Massachusetts. Simultaneously, he was working full-time in Orange for nearly 6.5 years. He's been with us for 4 years, but he's also a hazmat technician. And we've been trying to get him on the team. It's a very competitive team to get on. They've just had a merger, so it might make it a little bit harder. But the goal, obviously, would be to have him develop into that as well, too. So it's a huge asset for us to have that. Just the knowledge that's at the ready, as well as the availability of training for our department for hazmat and the other things that he's involved in.
Any questions, comments?
Well, we had the interview process, it was almost like a year and a day ago, right? I think it came up last week that it was a year ago, so. And I thought it was a very good interview process that we had at the time. And, you know, I think it was monumental for the fire department to take on a career lieutenant at that time. And, you know, this kind of fits with the overall planning that we've been trying to drive at with the development of the Southwick Fire Department and the career. You know, I hope that we can continue down that path. I think you're going to be excellent in this role.
Thank you.
I personally have had the opportunity to meet and speak with you on numerous occasions, and you've never failed to impress me and what you're capable of doing. So I think it's excellent, and I want to congratulate you, and I don't know if we have to vote or whatever, but I'll congratulate you now and then get to the vote. But
Thank you.
No,
I think we have to make an appointment. I think it is.
Yes, it's an
Because it is an appointment. So if you're willing to accept it, I'll gladly make a motion to appoint Mr. Hurley.
I'd be
as-
very happy to second that. And roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Moglen, yes.
It was a very good first interview and
Thank you.
a shorter for us, second interview,
Yes.
so.
Very good.
And appreciate you willing to step up and do that.
Terrific.
Glad
Thank
to.
you
That
very much.
terrific job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We probably have obligatory pictures coming up momentarily. Don't go far.
Yeah,
Oh.
go for it. Quick photo.
We do it now?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Should Russ come back in now?
So y'all don't get confused on who to look at.
Hit the button.
I did lots of times.
Yes, oh, okay.
I gotta get my folder out of the way. Oh, I should get this side. One more, I got it this time. Thank you.
You can cross
Thank you.
those out, you know.
Congratulations.
I know, proud.
Yes, I did. All right. We're gonna go a little bit out of order, if that's okay. You guys have a long agenda. And if we can take Randy Austin next. And Randy's gonna give us a little more information on the WGI TIF.
Okay, so I had attended the last meeting.
And I think you have to speak up because we might be a little bit
Okay.
shy on volume today.
All right, so I had attended the last meeting, and I had some questions about the amount of the investment and the way things were looking, but I had found out a lot more information since then, and basically we're recommending that we're gonna go with what they had. They had several independent contractors that had given their bids, and they all came in around that same amount of the investment amount. And so that's what I had changed things to and based it on that investment amount. And so, again, with that 1520, average and estimated tax rate, I worked out the numbers again. And I don't know if you have that in front of you.
Yep,
Okay,
we
good,
do.
you do, okay.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it would be a combined savings overall of $1,098,960 over the life of the TIF,
Over 10 years.
over the 10 years, yes.
That's building and property.
Well, yes, it's building and property, but the property value sort of is not included because that's the base value that was there prior to the investment.
And this is based on $12 million.
Yes. And personal property remains the same as that 6 million figure, but it gets depreciated on
A different rate,
yeah, on a
different scale.
different rate, and different scale, and so that's why it's adjusted. And I have that, yeah, the first year, we're at 95% of the value. And so that's what I had based everything on. And, yeah, I think overall that it's a company that has been here and has done well here and that we want to keep here. And overall, in the long run, the addition to our tax base is going to be advantage.
And this made a lot more sense now
Yes,
to me, so.
Appreciate you doing that.
no problem. It was, You know, I you have to apologize. A lot of the shortcoming was on me, and it was information that I really should have found out before I got to that point. But I did get it straightened out, and we have the information in front of us now. So
That would be the important part.
exactly.
The timing was a little bit tight, so
Right.
don't kick yourself over that. It was a
Alright.
short window to get a lot of
100%.
information. But I'm much happier with this
Yeah, but it definitely makes
illustration
it
now.
more
Correct.
realistic. What, just review again, how do we, the annual process, to know they're keeping up their end of the
And that's gonna have to be monitored. Now, there was a lot of changes that have happened recently with the acts of 2024. And so, exactly whether it's through EDIP or EACC, is it, I think, that's doing the, basically, I think a lot of the monitoring of it is gonna be best off handled in-house, as opposed to relying on what is said, because I think that's the way they're running them now. And I did send out the IGR, but I haven't read over every last example that they have in there, so it's something that I am going to get done along with our TIF policy. But I'll try and provide more information on it as soon as I can.
And that'll be for ongoing tips that are out there already?
Yeah, exactly, or anything in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the agreement, we'll have it in there that they will be reviewed annually and, you know, there'll be compliance and reporting requirements
Does-
to make sure that the jobs are being created and everything.
But
that they
if
see.
they're not, do they default on that year? Or what's the penalty for not, you know, something changes in their business and they can't hire?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
So it's called a clawback provision and they would default and they wouldn't get that discount,
Okay.
so.
In that particular year, does that end the TIF?
That is a question I don't have the answer for.
And so
right now,
that's,
yeah.
I might have a little bit more information. And what they would do is they would decertify the TIF as of that point. And whether there's clawback at that point, I guess it would depend more on how the business has behaved through the progression and how
far off they
long
are.
exactly, how far off and how long it's taken. And I have been in the mix when there was a decertification, and it was due to them not following through with their employment goals. And, yeah, like they were trying to take, or even, you know, I think what was happening is they were relocating people from a different facility that closed down and saying, oh, we have these
Hiring here,
jobs, and
yeah.
it's like, no, you're not creating those
You're
jobs.
just shuffling.
You're shuffling, exactly, and that was part of why they ultimately were decertified.
Okay. Okay,
It's fine.
all right. Much better. Thank you.
Okay,
Excellent. Thank you, Randy.
thank you.
So that information will be available for town meeting?
It'll be in the explanations,
Okay.
the
And-
details.
You probably just, and you were gonna wanna have this number at the
Correct.
tip of your tongue, because someone always asks at the meeting, what's the net value of the TIF? if it
We're gonna
goes
have
to-
that in the
right,
explanation.
Because right,
Yeah,
someone will still ask it.
yeah, we'll point them to that.
100%.
And I would like
Okay.
to see too what they are paying. I mean, they're getting discounted.
Yeah, I actually thought of that too, because that's part of it, and that would be something interesting, as, here's what we're realizing from this new
Right.
investment, and
Sure.
how quickly we'll
The
realize
flip side of that.
So
Yep.
the same, right, the other
Yep.
side of the coin, so I
Yeah,
can do
Yep.
that,
just-
and I'll send that around.
Yeah, you can do the math
in-
back.
Right, just do the other half of it, right?
Yeah, exactly, so that's, I can add it to it and resend around this estimate.
Okay.
Sure, that'd be
Thank you,
great,
Randy.
thank you very much,
Thanks,
appreciate
Randy.
it. Well done.
Okay, and then back up, we're gonna go to, DPW can join us. We're going to talk about complete streets again.
Evening, Rich Bozak, South of DPW. So first was the
So you don't want to play?
complete streets.
You got a haircut and everything for this.
I gotta swim, right?
He's doing great.
So the complete streets, we did have a policy template. We reviewed it, we went over some wording that we just changed a little bit to make it more for Southwick and the DPW eyes. I did present that to you guys in draft form.
Yep.
And I guess really the next step would be your okay, and then after that, it goes to Mass DOT, and they grade it on a score of 80 to 100. 80 is passing, obviously, but if it's below 80, they
Well,
sent
it
it back
shouldn't
to
be,
you.
right, because you
It's pretty
basically
much
use
the
the template. that-
Correct, yep,
gave
I just
you, yeah.
changed some of the
There were
wording.
just a few insertions like where practicable,
Right,
so that we had a little bit of leeway
right.
or say in whether we found that practical or not.
Right.
So those were, I like those insertions.
And then they score it, they pass it, and then the next step is the prioritization plan, which that's where we'd end up making a list of the roads and all and whatnot, and where we'd wanna go with it. And then after that, that's when you can start getting funding for that 38,000 that they talk about to help build that prioritization plan. That's a good word. So that step, and then the next steps are all after that. But this is the first step that we can go through, get the policy in, get it adopted as an administrative policy, I'm sorry, and make our next steps from there. Any questions on how it was presented?
No, that makes sense. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, so as long as we got it refined with your concerns that you
Yeah,
didn't want to open us to.
I know, like, some of the practices, like rehabilitation for roads and all that stuff, keeping it within the right of way and all that, and that's allowed, so
Yeah.
it's not like scary in the sense that, oh, we're having to change every road, no, and that's why I just wanted to make sure that the wording was there for us. But then definitely use it for where we can use it, for certain aspects, certain roads.
Do you need a motion from us to
Any
approve?
other concerns?
I still have a concern on this overall program, and I'll be the bad guy in the room tonight. It's generally tradition, especially on the eve of an election, that we don't make significant policy adoptions until after an election. So it would be my opinion that we hold this until our next formal meeting after the board reorganizes after the election. That being said, I'm but one member on the select board.
Well, what's the difference for the policy?
You're basically voting to adopt a complete streets policy.
That
On
we've been
behalf of the
talking
town.
about for months.
We have not taken a vote on it, and you've
Correct.
heard, like I said, I am but one member.
This was just my draft, I was not, you guys can totally take a look at it again and come back, that's not an issue. I just knew we needed something to have to get the ball rolling, so that's where I started.
Russ, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it came forward. We had concerns that we weren't opening ourselves up to anything, that we,
We asked that that be vetted.
so, yeah, vet it, go check it out. Economic development was also, I won't say pushing it, but, you know, a champion of it.
Yep.
And they vetted it as well in various grants that were out there, and we were cautious. My intention was you were going to investigate those cautions. And what I'm hearing now is that you're coming back and those cautions aren't justified, or they aren't as bad as you thought they were.
I don't believe so, no. I think there's avenues where you can use it, and there's avenues where you don't need to, and it's really up to what we wanna do with it. It's not in my eyes, I don't believe it'll be that detrimental to anything. Where we do wanna use it, we ask and we put in for it.
And
Now, whether it needs to be,
if we choose to adopt this tonight, it still has to be submitted and scored above 80.
correct,
So,
And then once scored, if a project comes up,
well, the next step would be that prioritization plan, where we then get a list of the roads and where we think complete streets can be used best.
Right.
We get that to them, and then that's where that extra money from the grant can come in and help us make our plan.
because we had talked about it being part of possible Hudson Drive build-out somewhere in there.
It's probably,
And
that
those-
powder mill would be the first couple roads
Powder
right on
mill,
top.
the-
is
you know,
where I would-
there was plenty of options, so I don't see the negative aspects of it if you're comfortable with it. I mean,
I'm comfortable to move forward with it, to at least get it into the DOT's hands and see how they view it on my end.
and you have the right to reject it after
Yeah, I believe
If
so.
they come back at an 85 and you say, well, you know what, we're not gonna do it.
Or we just won't submit projects.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
And is that your understanding as well, John? In the research you had done with,
To be direct and blunt, I did not investigate a scenario, an exit scenario. It's a question of, in my perspective, what are we committing to? I think Rich did a good job identifying places where he interpreted vulnerability. And with care and caution, modifying some language to make sure we're abundantly clear that we don't fall into expenses that we can't manage with our regular street rehabilitation projects. Making sure that if it is rehabilitation, it's business as usual.
With that being said, if there is a question of if there's a good background, whatnot, I can certainly look farther into that as well. I was really just working on the
I
policy
don't
drafting.
think that's the question. The question is the timing of making this decision.
Or-
Well, it's not a bad question to ask too. So what you're telling us is that we can be selective to what projects would be subject to complete streets, or once you adopt a complete street policy, within the confines of the program, you're in it.
Yeah,
Well, that's what the agreement says.
right. But with that being said, I mean, I can certainly double check on the ability to just not put in for them, and you're okay, and whatnot. That's a great question. If there's a yearly, you have to put something in, that's a great question. I don't think I ever saw anything on that.
There certainly is a threshold, if you don't mind me speaking for a
No, no.
moment. If we're talking about new subdivision projects that come into town, that's we're gonna call it a non-negotiable. It has to be examined. Right? There's nothing in here that mandates this is the course we have to consider. We're gonna call it the complete street options available. If we go in for wholesale reconstruction, a la Powder Mill Road, where we have, utilities, changes to road layout and elevations, that falls into consideration, where you do consider, if you will, those complete street factors.
And that's where whether practical
Yep.
or not.
Our road work over at Holcomb is planned, Gargan Terrace. So we're, if you're managing the pavement layer, and to some degree, some minor drainage changes, that falls into the category where we aren't forced to consider. The policy does say that we will consider under many cases, but you're not beholden to any conclusion within that rehabilitation.
And that's just if
scenario.
you wanna use the Complete Streets program, right? I mean, if you wanna use that funding. If we don't wanna use that funding, if we're not gonna build the rail trail, whatever, you just don't use that funding source.
The town, where practicable, will work to integrate complete streets principles and design elements into all public and privately funded roadway projects. I was not trying to push a policy through at the last minute. I was trying to complete a policy so they could carry on and get funding wherever possible. And I'm surprised you didn't mention this before tonight, if this was a problem for you.
It's not a problem for me. I'm just stating what has been a long-standing tradition.
I
In the
didn't
town
have
center.
any advice on that from anyone prior to tonight,
Okay.
so. If someone wants to make a motion to adopt, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt as suggested by Rich.
Is there a second? I'll make the second. Roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul will abstain.
Russ Anderson, yes.
Okay, so we can do whatever we have to do to formally adopt that, whether, and then however it gets submitted.
I will do.
Through IGX or something, right?
Sorry.
Through IGX, does it go?
Grand Central. I think.
Grand Central, oh,
Yep.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Grand Central.
You need anything from me? Just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then, next up, funding availability for fiscal 25 and 6 projects for Ed Holcomb and South Long Yard Road drainage.
So this is just I believe we may have missed a signature, an allocation from the select board back in July for South Long Yard Road drainage improvements. We just want to make sure that we get that allocation so we can push it through finance.
That's the erosion issue.
Right.
So,
It was just never okayed back in July of.
Really?
Yep.
well, it was, we approved $95,000 on 7/28. You have bids now for 135, or more defined work
Right.
that now are 135. So we need to approve the additional 40. Out of,
Wasn't funded at all.
am I correct?
What's funny is that the minutes don't reflect that effort, although I think we all remember very
I think-
clearly.
Yeah, right.
I reviewed the minutes, yes, they do.
So
In
the-
in a combined statement, after we discussed, and it
I
said. it
think
was
South
both
Long Yard
votes.
Road somehow escaped it, or I
Okay.
did a bad job. If you don't mind, there will be addition,
will
I would like
vote
to
the
have
whole
the
thing.
full
I
amount.
gotcha.
Tire
What would you like?
135.
What would you like?
Tire 135,
Thank you.
A clarifying motion.
yes.
And that's
good.
from a bid, from engineered designs, specs, et cetera,
These
et
are
cetera.
through several cost estimates have been provided, and looking at an encompassing project as well as worsening erosion.
And how soon can that start?
Just by the end of the month, maybe June
So all the
1st.
permitting and all that, I know you were,
Yep, conservation
all
was, yep, they're all set,
Okay.
everything's all good on that. It was just more or less the final signature, I guess, is what we were looking for.
Okay,
I will
so
make that motion then
for
for
135.
135, $135,000.
Correct.
Which replaces our previous,
95. was the
95,000.
previous.
I'll second.
Roll
Thank
call
you.
vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes. And that was from last year's monies
Correct.
that you're just reproportioning.
Yeah,
so
this,
to speak.
well, this year, yeah,
6,
26.
yeah.
Alright, so that was South Long Yard.
And I believe we just wanted to make sure that we're okay to allocate at Holcomb Road pavement reclamation project. The bid came in at 590,000. We're gonna go through use chapter 90 money that we have, or the town has chapter 90 funds.
Was that number higher or lower than?
A little higher.
So we had approved 490
Mhm.
back in July. That was the estimate at the time. So if you want to do the same thing, we'll just do reapprove for the entire
Sure. We'll,
590.
No, I'm just, what does it affect? Because obviously if we're using the same well, it's getting a little more empty as the numbers go
We'll
up.
talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Or I can talk about that before we vote, if you like.
No, that's
might
fine.
be a good idea.
We had on the estimate and Doug's list, we had 1,000,008 with an estimated 350 from chapter 90. What we had agreed to back in July was 1,110,000. So we did not assign about $689,000,
Okay,
which we can do, or they can now prioritize that balance.
okay.
So we have that for this, 590.
Right, because I think when we started this, we didn't know the chapter 90,
Correct.
and it came in at
Right.
615, I think, was where it
Something much
landed.
higher.
Yeah, so,
Came in higher.
And
Right.
the Granville Road drainage is off of next year's monies? Or left over from this year's money? We
If
don't
there's
know
any
yet.
left over, but we have to make sure that we can use it correctly via chapter 90 or just allocated.
Right.
So that,
We
so
don't wanna lose that, right.
we have chapter 90 money that's still available, so we just wanted to use some of that up before, because there's still older funds, 24 and 25 had some, then we have the 26 apportionment.
So then, before we make a larger mess of the minutes, I'll make a motion to allocate $590,000 to the Ed Holcomb Road reconstruction project.
Second.
Roll call vote, Dan Gale, aye.
Doug Moglen, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes.
Thank you.
Did you get
So-
multiple bids on that?
Not that one.
So also in July, the rest of what we did approve was 420 for Gargan Terrace. The Powder Mill Road, there was a rural grant that required 25 spent.
30, yeah, 25 or 30, right.
And then 80 for crack sealing, and that was the composition of our 1.1.
So
Okay?
do you need a confirming motion for that, just to keep all the books right?
I guess, what are you doing with the grant?
The grant, I don't,
I'm sorry,
it's a stall. No, the
I'm
powder
sorry,
mill.
oh, sorry, the requested grant,
was a
that match,
powder mill?
it was not awarded, so those funds are no longer required.
Okay,
That 30,000,
That's correct.
okay.
okay. And then crack sealing, you're doing crack
Yeah,
sealing.
that's going
The
on.
rest were monumented within minutes and
And Gargon's good to go for this year paving season.
Well, then I think that's gonna come up on your next.
So that
thing,
is,
right?
we're going to be going out to bid hopefully by the end of this week with that. And then that will go in the bid process. We'll see what we get back for that one, and then we'll go from there. It was earmarked as 420,000 from last year's previous director's estimates. So we'll see how that,
How close it comes.
right, whether it's following that whole major reconstruction. I don't believe we'll have to do any of that though. So hopefully it comes back a little less.
Are you bidding it to both ways? Or,
We're gonna bid it and of basically a complete mill out with a binder and a top coat put back in. So it's a little less stingent
Less
on what,
involved, yeah.
right, as Ed Holcomb is with full depth.
Okay, good on those?
You.
Okay,
Thank you.
and then moving on, the beta assessments prioritization.
Yes, and so what I handed you guys Friday, I updated a little bit to reflect some moving around with funding from this year and next year. So this is also just kind of a draft form to see how you, see where you guys are sitting on some things as well. Essentially, Beta presented us with a 3-year preliminary draft CIP. And I updated to reflect, one, if the funding is allocated at town meeting for the million, and then we currently are $684,000, I believe, coming from chapter 90 for this 27. So it gives us our 1.6 if the town votes for that. So I was updating our CIMP to reflect some of these other roads into it to help get a better idea of where we can go. So also in doing this a little bit of a draft, we still had leftover chapter 90 money from previous years. So that actually bumps our total available value up for, I'm sorry, this 26. So 26. If my math is right and it's gonna hold, we did our chapter 90 look back today.
Okay, so this is what we had July updated? Yes.
Right, so as of right now, we still have the 1 million from last year, 25's meeting, but 26's money that was untouched per accounting. And then everything else is what we have chapter 90 still sitting. Now, obviously, we're gonna use some of that for Ed Holcomb, and you can see the South Long Yard, Gargan, various crack seal, and a little drainage project I believe was okay for 30 Granville Road. And that, holding, obviously, we're gonna go to bid out with Gargan. And then that's 1.255 on the backside, sorry. It'll show where, if that was holding, I was going to incorporate the Meadow Lane Dairy Stagecoach into this cycle. And that way,
that's, sorry, that's,
Yep.
26 money?
right. Yep,
That's
this is
not
all.
the new one?
No, that, yeah.
Okay, oh, all right, cool.
Right, that's
So
where,
with what we had not allocated plus
Right.
the increase,
So it takes it off the top of the
right,
Beta's 27 list.
right, and then that's what was,
right.
so I added, sorry, I wasn't even thinking of,
Oh, so you moved them up.
Right, so I updated the list to reflect, the red obviously is tentative, except for the 135 now, and, chapter 90 to 80,000. But I did incorporated the Meadow Lane, the Darien Stagecoach for this. So if we were able to go for it, we'll try to get that out with Gargan as well, for these funds.
That was my recommendation.
And then for 27, I updated to reflect other roads in lieu of matching amounts from Meadow Lane and whatnot, to get us back to where, next year, where if that 1.6 holds, we're kind of right in the same ballpark again, theoretically.
Okay,
And
so, I'm sorry.
No, you don't have the fair share number yet for 26.
No, we just had the chapter 90 with the supplemental. That's all that I believe that's all that the DOT came back to us so far with. Plus that comes out a little later.
Okay.
And as I say, this can always be moved, changed, and whatnot.
The only,
Funding.
I see that we got the Fernwoods on the shorter list, the Birchwoods, which, that was gonna be one of my questions, was the, on the 28 list,
Correct.
the original one, you had, Point Grove, which we talked about. I get a lot of complaints from the state line to Berkshire.
Yep.
But this one also said Country Club, which,
Well, this was kind of grouped together via beta and as a group, so your mobilization is less.
I understand that,
So we
but
can
I,
get depot.
For the people listening, can you give me the same explanation? How your list melded with the
So,
beta
with
prioritization
beta-
and how you grouped?
Right, so the beta program, they put it together with, I'm trying to keep it with a little bit of everything, so you got your major reconstruction, your rehabilitation, your minor, all that. And still get the bang for our buck to get our cumulative score running higher every year and not
Right.
losing. So what it was put together as grouping it in a way that where your mobilization and all that, you cut down the cost of that. So we're getting more bang for our buck by doing, say, sheep pasture right into Point Grove Road. You're already there, you can grab Country Club, and you can run right to the Connecticut line. And then that whole section is done. Depot Street, however, because of that condo project, I was kind of leery of putting that
Right.
in there for all the amount of work. And then on 29, it was like a South Long Yard Road, Foster, Matthews, just areas that are already low scoring, but they're grouped luckily right in the same area. So we can really try to get that bang for a buck. Obviously, 29 can change and anything else. That was, and then incorporating those bigger sections, but also still getting some other roads that are in the area that maybe are less, the process to fix them can be different too. We're not saying we have to full depth everything, we don't have to micro seal everything, but, and then continually keep crack sealing in there to stay on the roads that have already done, because within 5 to 7 years, you're gonna have cracks on
What
everything
was the
nowadays.
inflation factor in this? Was there one?
I-
Or is this all at today's values?
I was just curious with the fuel shoot going on.
Right, that's up. So I look at their numbers and I put them in, I'm not sure if they're gonna be quite as accurate as what I
And you said their numbers don't take into account what you know under the surface
Right,
as well.
they're really just looking at like your mill and overlays, it's
Yeah.
all they're doing, so we're not, I mean.
So we could,
And that's where we gotta
have to-
keep some of these, I don't wanna say keep, but we'd like to allocate some of the funding too, to continue like the Granville Road drainage, because we can stay on the DOT's eyes. And then all our other little projects that we might need, I mean, water mains, anything drainage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kinda trying to meld all that together.
But where I was going with the Country Club was, I know we talked about the Fernwoods, the Piney Woods needing it badly, and that's a lot older neighborhood than Country Club. So
Right.
I understand the mobilization, and it might make more sense, but
No, yeah, and that's why I kind of put it back to where it was, because it really just, they're there, they can come right out, especially if we're doing a mill and overlay. I mean, they can just run a whole 5 miles, then they come back, they top coat it, and
now have there been any economies? I know you're going out to bid on some of them, and then should the monies pass at the town meeting, is there any economies with putting those bids together?
I would like to think so. We group them like that, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to think
Because
that,
once you got 27 money, you got 26 money, you got all that project,
right, there's probably a way to do that, but in sense, when we do go to bid out, we'll probably bid it grouped to try to get the bid.
Right.
the bid.
For what you have scheduled out for
Right.
that year as a,
Like a whole,
Whole bucket.
yeah, we can try that.
okay.
I think it's your best bet for mobilization.
And when you're talking about FY '27, these roads, are you thinking of calendar '26? Like between July and November, or are you
At
thinking
this
next
point,
year?
no, at this point, knowing what we have with the chapter 90, I think we're gonna really try to push the Gargan, and if it's allowable, Meadow Lane area, to get that in between, before this fall.
Okay.
Because usually like September 30th, give or take,
Kinda the
you're
cutoff.
kinda getting
Yeah.
close, but, so if we can get these bidded out quick enough, and there's an appetite for it, hopefully we can get a decent bids back, get them on the schedule.
You
and
need
go.
to get those bids out quickly, because that's fiscal '26 that needs.
Right, I mean, Gargan we were working on, but then after going through and seeing where we have more chapter 90 money that we'd like to try to use up, that's where we came to.
But chapter 90 can be used through multiple years.
Correct.
It's not.
Can be held over.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because there is
Yeah.
older, 25 money, chapter 90, so,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
idea is that we have it, so.
Yeah,
so-
to get
Right,
it done.
exactly. Correct.
Okay,
Cool.
And obviously, it can change, we can move things, like on 27, we also have, we incorporated some culvert match, because we do have a couple of culverts that are gonna be ready to go. We're just gonna need to maybe try to match some funding to see if we can get construction grants for them, and at least if we're always pushing with, it looks better, instead of having things just sitting there and grants see that we're pushing for it and all that.
So under the revised plan, FY '26, the Meadow Lane, Dairy Lane Stagecoach would get done before fall.
That is my plan, to get the bids out.
So it doesn't fall apart again.
Right,
For another
before,
winter.
well, that's my plan, yeah,
Yeah.
if I can get them out, then we don't have to worry about them for the winter or for 15+ years.
Yeah.
That is the way I'm looking at it, I hope we can get them out quicker, that way we can get, competitive bids on them before the end of the year.
If I remember right, I thought Beta can help you with that. with some
I'll
of the
follow
templates and stuff like that.
I'll follow up with that, and I mean, luckily, I think Meadow Lane's gonna be the same as Gargan, we'll be, I think the bases are okay, it's just the blacktop is just bad, and then, they can grade, fill in where we need to, and then get a good binder down with a top coat, and make it smooth.
Cool.
You
Start
can
working.
check the base, because you can pretty much see it all along Meadow. Now,
Just get the
That's
water out of the way.
just,
I think the base is okay. it's
no,
just the
I
blacktop.
get it. No,
Yeah.
well, it's just, you'll have to see it.
It's the goldfish you gotta watch out for.
Or golf balls if from the gentleman from WGI. Just looking at the, yeah, it matched exactly. All right. So just looking at the numbers that I had back from last year, it matches up exactly. So we just need to know what the fiscal year, which we haven't seen it yet, the 2026 fair share. And then if there is a fiscal year '26 fair share supplemental, because there was two last year from fair share and fair share supplemental, and then there was a fiscal year '25 rural roadway funding outside of chapter 92. I don't know if there was one for fiscal year '26.
I did not see any in our,
I haven't seen one for 26, but that's, I think it might be related to that.
24 fair share carryover. So I think some were used for something, it just was not.
But, yeah, I think your number and what I had in here they're off by 30 cents. So 30 cents on 2.23 million, that's fine. Just looking at where we got to that 2.236.
Correct.
Those were in there, so if there's, I don't know where, if or when we'll see the fiscal year '26 fair share number, because we're coming to the end of fiscal year '26.
Like I said, we haven't seen
Right.
anything from, even when we,
Because I don't know if that helps you at all, if you go to bid and you were able to pull, let's say you were able to pull, the fiscal year 25 fair share was, it was 83,000. That was a supplement. I don't even have it in here, what the fair share amount was, do we?
not for '24, we
and
just
I
have
don't know
one
if,
carried over.
'cause we did get more chapter 90
Right.
than, I wonder if that was something they did, that's a good question to ask.
Granger knows that as an HVAC technician, the heat is on
Hello.
you every day. your first call,
Little
an office
sponsor
building
during
will
the
be
select board meeting, that's nice.
Siri.
This has been brought to you by.
But if, you know, it just,
Times are hard.
if, you know, if it's $100,000 or something, that you would help you pull something, a portion of a project forward or some design work
Right.
for another project
Oh,
to
yeah.
get something teed up for.
Correct,
'cause
whatever.
I like how you've done the, you know, the groupings, right? So hopefully you can get a bunch bid together and do it. You know, even though it may look, to your point, Russ, it may look like Country Club might be a little out of order, but I get
understand
it.
it. Yeah, I
Because
get it.
if you do it for half the price, then if you went back 2 years later to do it and it's double,
Right.
because you have to remobilize and they don't just knock out, and that's a relatively short street
And
as an
it's what,
example.
500 feet or something?
Right, right, it's
Yeah, no,
relatively
yeah.
small, but
And the
yeah.
same with South Loomis and Vining Hill. I mean, if we're gonna do that from College Highway to Pearlbrook where that culvert is, they can just go right up. We can get the other end of South Loomis, and then we can have South Loomis has basically been all done in the last 3 to 5 years. So that's kind of trying to group it.
Vining Hill, are you gonna gate it based on that culvert project, or do you think that'll be okay?
To the culvert, right?
To the
Well,
culvert.
on either side of it, are you gonna come up from College Highway to
Yeah,
the
or
culvert,
we
or
come
from the
wherever,
culvert to?
wherever the design states the limits of the culvert are, we'd obviously come up, at least get
just
that bad
leave-
section
yeah.
to the, where it's really covered with trees. Get past that and get up to the culvert wherever we need to be, and then that's that
Sure.
section. Then obviously, of course, the following year, and the next, you know, we can think about the rest of it and incorporate something on the west end of town. Via still going through.
When's the culvert scheduled?
That is,
Years out?
no, that's the next,
It's coming up in the.
Before we move on to that, I just have one more question. So, a lot of these other projects that we've done over the last few years, they were kind of a 3-year, 3-stage project. And I imagine Vining Hill might look like that too, right? Where you're gonna get in there, you wanna do that tree work if you can to make the canopy
and
less
then
of
that's where it becomes
destructive.
more,
And
that's
then-
where these numbers, I don't think, give the justification of all the.
From the complete street part, I don't think they really took a lot of that into account, the ancillary work that's gotta happen. So that's gonna have to balance out here when you get in there. Like Vining Hill, it doesn't make sense to, everyone will disagree with me, but it doesn't make sense to pave that road now, because you'll be doing it again in 5 years if we don't fix up that canopy and/or some of the
Correct.
drainage issue
Yep.
there that's causing that eruption there on Vining Hill.
On the bend, yeah.
So it's good money to, or good investment to do the work. Ed Holcomb's gonna be a picture-perfect example
That's it.
of that,
Go for
right?
a
When
long
you're
time.
done, that's gonna be good for a while. You did all the tree work, you did the drainage work, now that pavement has a chance.
And that's the thing too, is trying to make sure the funding is there to do these extra little
Abs-
things
it-
and still.
I wouldn't
pave the roads.
categorize them as extra. I think they're kind of important to the overall thing. There are roads that we can get in now, you know, Meadow is one of them, it's not really treed, that just the pavement's given up, right? That one, probably pretty good. Even Fernwood, Birchwood, most of that's not really heavily treed, it's just the pavement's just worn out, right? It's been there since the, 50s, 1950s. So those might be right, spot on, but some of these other projects this number might be a little misleading at this time, because you've got other work to get in there to preserve this dollar amount investment that you're gonna put on the road and pavement. So,
Correct.
absolutely.
So I think you're looking for us to give you an approval for $811,920, $811,920.
Correct.
For Meadow Lane, Dairy Lane, and Stagecoach Road out of the fiscal '26 road monies.
Correct.
So moved.
Is there any contingency in that, or
Well, we'd
you're
have the
down to
room,
like the absolute
but
dollar?
we'd have the room for the '26 fair share that we don't have yet.
We don't even have
That's
it.
gonna be in there.
Oh, so this is a leftover year.
That we're talking about, that's,
He's programming money that we already have. He doesn't have the 26 fair share, which will roll into 27's math when we
unused,
get to it.
I just mean for these 3 roads.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. My math was still higher, but that's
Okay.
what we were going to go with, and if there is leftover, we'll just use it.
And with those roads, there's not a lot of the underground work.
No, a lot of that, we're gonna do
So
our
these
due
are
diligence.
fairer
Good.
estimates.
Good. I just hate to come up short, that's all.
Okay, so that needed a second. If
Second.
You're good. Roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes. One question though, just, this would be for you, Nicole, in the $2 million that you have on your list there, or we have $1 million in the chapter 90, is that sitting in our banks?
Yeah.
And when the interest on that, does that stay in that money, or does that, the interest go back to
General fund.
general fund? Okay. So the roadway money doesn't grow because
No.
we haven't touched it for a year?
No,
Okay.
I mean, it grows in the sense for the
But,
entire town of
but
Southwick,
not for the road
roads.
projects, okay.
Right.
Some of it ends up rolling back when you roll free cash into something. You know,
Right,
you end up
indirectly,
it there.
sure.
So, and we're not gonna quibble over the 32 cents.
Well, I hope some that will.
Okay, glad we talked about that.
Thank you.
today. All right, and then, next, we're good on that?
Yes.
Okay. And next is the Community One Stop for Growth Project, selection and seeking board support. And I think it's John's turn.
Good evening, everybody. So, hot off of a phone call with Time Bond, who is the current contractor for the Vining Hill Road, Pearl Brook Culvert, and the Slab Brook Culvert over Tannery Road, and also the small bridge project over on Granville Road. I took that opportunity today. I was glad they were able to share some time with us because I wanted to drill in. Beginning of June is the deadline for grant submissions through the One Stop for Community Growth program. Essentially a MassWorks umbrella. The catch term under that is growth, right? I wish I could, I really wanted to speed up the colleague on the phone and find ways, in particular, to find fresh ways to support the Powder Mill Road project. I think there's a lot of merit in that particular project. Ultimately, it doesn't unlock new opportunities from a growth standpoint, which is the feedback we got last year, and sometimes it warrants, throwing things in for a new cycle. But the dollar amounts that are needed to work on that project, where we are considering underground utilities as well as surface improvements, just can't be supported through that program. So I mention this out loud because I've had perhaps some side conversations about some of the turnkey projects where we have blueprints, we have permits in hand, trying to find the right funding sources and the right opportunity to pull triggers. But to try to keep things a little bit more controlled for conversation purposes, where we landed was looking at those two town-managed projects. The Granville Road Small Bridge Project is a Mass DOT governed project where Time Bond essentially is reporting straight to them. But for Vining Hill Road and Tannery Road, last year, it was under the Community One Stop for Growth, where we received design and permitting awards. One was through the Rural Development Fund, Another one was a derivative of the STRAP grant program, where through our population density, Southwick has some qualifications. So the merit that was shared with me, and I was able to get on board, was, these programs saw fit, as Rich mentioned earlier, to commit those funds to Southwick for the design and permitting processes. We're wrapping that up with Conservation Speak. One is fully complete, the other one's waiting on a few DEP comments to come back in. And I expect that's going to be concluded without issue. We're completing things within budget and on time. I think these are good opportunities for those grant awarding authorities to, look at them, look at the next step, and see if they're willing to step up and support us for some construction. As Rich mentioned, within our crystal ball, looking forward for future year budgets, we do need to set aside some funds. For example, if we're so lucky to receive an award through the Rural Development Fund, they've got a cap of about $500,000. So and that goes a long ways in terms of either culvert replacement. But we do have to set aside some funds for the development of construction specifications and the construction administration component of that. So rough and tumble, we are looking at some FY27 set-asides, as Rich mentioned. But anyway, so the two projects I have for you, that I would like to request your authorization to proceed with submittal to this program are the culverts for Vining Hill Road and Tannery Road.
And that is to apply for those grants.
Yes. With the understanding that the town is willing to commit. I picked a slightly conservative figure of $150,000 to bring that maximum under the Rural Development Fund up to a range where we knew that Ty and Bond would be able to continue with the process and administer the construction component.
150 town cost.
150 town cost for an optimistic, but hopeful, $500,000 through that particular program. As I chatted with Dan, there's two separate programs that funded the design and engineering for both these culverts, so the idea is let's throw our hat back in the ring. And I wish to have the difficult conversation with the select board of being awarded 2 grants and having to come up with.
Yeah, right, we have to find out where to get the 150.
Yeah.
I just
I
want
look forward to
to
that.
throw it out there, I was noticed as an abutter for the Vining Hill project. I don't know if that means anything for voting, I don't think I'm dissimilarly situated, I'm a quarter mile from that bridge, but I'll throw it out there.
So we're a little ahead of, I mean, customarily, I'm coming in here, our grant applications are hot, being prepared, and the deadline's the next day. But I recognize that May's a busy month, I'd like to have this discussion now. I do have a letter, if anyone is interested in signing this evening. All it indicates is what the program is and what the 2 culverts are. But I'll leave it to your discretion.
It doesn't prevent us applying for any other community one-stop
No,
stuff.
so the funny thing is there's no cap on this, right?
I don't see the downside either, really. Looking for a
No,
motion?
we don't either, because we know we have to find money for these projects.
Correct, and
so-
we've gotten a lot of
And
great,
you have-
Where you can.
we've gotten the MVP grants and other grants for culverts over the
Right,
years,
we've been
so.
very lucky and.
Right.
And these are gonna be fiscal '27, so we will
Yes.
go through that exercise again with the total monies and know we have those to match.
Right, and it technically would be chapter 90 eligible even under, if you need to get to it's gonna be less than 150. 150 out of the chapter 90, 27 allocation, you could certainly do it. Are you looking for a motion for that?
They would like one, yes. Yes, we would.
I'll put a motion out there to submit those 2 grant applications then, right?
Yes,
Two one-stop grant applications for the culverts at Vining Hill and Tannery.
Tannery.
Second.
Roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, great to have your support.
One question on the growth one, you said we didn't qualify for that one?
So what Powder Mill Road didn't do was unlock new opportunities for commercial and residential growth. The Bassburg program really likes to see job creation, business development, so on and so forth. And as many merits as the Powder Mill Road project has, it's just not the right fit. Under the MassWorks component, which generally has the larger dollar amounts that are needed to support that scale project.
Sam West.
And they don't consider recreation as growth. So more access to recreation with everything that goes on there, from the schools to the motocross to the park.
It probably
It-
doesn't
it-
carry enough points.
It bothers me greatly, but I can at least say that Dan Holmes's conversation with me over at Ty and Bond, unfortunately mirrored the same as their artificial intelligence expression of interest response, saying, nope, that's not the right fit. Doug mentioned the Hudson Drive and Sam West Road connector project.
Oh, you read my mind.
Different
Yeah,
animal.
that's
So-
a
so
MassWorks
that's
project,
the
if there
right-
ever
He
was
spoke
one.
outside.
Oh, gee. I said the quiet part out loud again? That's a MassWorks project, if there ever was one, right, yeah.
We have some more, survey and legal tasks to do before we're ready to bring it forward, but if you ever heard of one, a master project, that is it.
Yeah, absolutely. We had done one for, the last time I think that we were even close to being in the running for MassWorks was Congamond sewer. We wanted to bring the sewer down Congamond as part of the reconstruction to get it down to Big Y and the crossings. And even that didn't have a significant enough economic development impact to sway them to,
No kidding.
yeah. no.
Okay.
Excellent. I think that's.
Anything else?
Go back there now?
You're gonna lose
You
your
guys have done, you've
opportunity
done
now.
pretty
Come
good so
on.
far. You got anything else?
We're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all your work. All right, then, back to the agenda. We are going to acknowledge and approve the American Legion Post 338 application for parade permit on May 25th, 2026. And that would be provided we get the police and fire sign-offs received.
I'll second the motion contingent on us getting that stuff. With all the other stuff we got going on, who knows when we're gonna meet in time to do that.
Correct. So roll call vote, Dan Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes.
Okay, and then we're going to acknowledge 2 master plan completions, if you agree to agree. These are from the planning board. They were submitted as complete to the master plan implementation committee. They determined met the criteria and sufficient documentation. Planning board has already met and approved them as complete. The first one is for land use, action 1.1, performing zoning diagnostics for readability and content organization. And the planning board has responded that that is all in process in their modernization project, and they will incorporate the open space recreation plan recommendations for climate and large-scale solar in that process. The second one is Planning Board's Land Use 1.2, consider the creation of other committees to assist with 1.1 that I just talked about. And they have submitted that rather than a committee, the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission put together the work group that is moving along with the diagnostics of readability, definitions, organization, no substantive changes to the bylaws, just ease of use, and the start of the community survey that will lead to more recommendations in the actual zoning change recommendations that would go before town meeting. So those are their 2 requests to sign these things complete. If you agree and to have me sign those and submit them to the master plan committee.
Motion for the chair to sign.
Second.
Roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes.
Then we need 2. Last time we met or the time before, we agreed to the Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee. The Conservation Commission has met and designated Dennis Clark as their member. So I'm looking for a motion to appoint Dennis Clark for the initial term, 5/11/26 to 6/30/26, and then we'll get all of them picked up for the 10-year term of the OSRP next time we go through appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes.
So again, at that future, actually at the 6/1 select board meeting, we should probably retroactively appoint Connor Fleury, Philip Price, and Martha Kane. Those are the 3 open space land management that are part of the OSRP. So we should get those at least for that interim term and then refresh everybody. So can you just make sure that carries on the agenda?
What does?
I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after. Pay attention.
Could you
girl.
repeat that part between good afternoon and have a good evening?
Watch Fred's video.
I won't let it go, don't worry. Okay, and then other new business. Did you have something?
I did, that's what I was
came
just
up?
reading.
Okay, so she was getting ready for the next item.
Yes.
Good cover.
So there's a land management grant for the OSRP to begin their review of the
assistance grant to help them write it.
the assistance grant to help them write the plan. And I just got it today, and it needs a signature. It needs a signature, and I'm not an authorized signatory. So, and it's only a couple $1,000 has to be spent by June 30, and then a few more is into June FY27. So, if I could have a motion to have the chair sign this grant application, because she is the signatory, to spend this money by June 30th of 26.
Which we have.
It's been approved, it's just, it needs a signature, and I am not a signatory, so,
So moved.
there,
Second.
thank you.
Roll call vote, Dan Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Russ Anderson, yes?
Okay. Then moving on to old business. I just wanted to mention the right of first refusal on 177 Claus Anderson Road, the chapter 61. Again, not all parties have submitted, but so far, I don't know, more than half have.
It's just historical,
Is that all that's outstanding?
yeah, and,
So-
That's more than half.
It's more than half of those that are required to approve it. So we could approve it and let them get on with their transaction tonight if you care to, or wait for the stragglers.
Has historical given you any indication that they're waiting for something, or?
no, I don't, I think we just haven't met, forgot it on their last agenda. I don't know,
But everyone else has expressed no interest
Yeah.
for the town to acquire.
Do you know when they're meeting next?
no.
Carry it for the consent. We're gonna have a consent agenda next week, right?
Okay, I can
Carry
get
it for
those
there,
answers.
and I'll reach out.
I'd like to let the people.
No, I agreed,
on.
agreed. And we've done a good job of following the process here. There's no sense torturing.
And the owner
Yeah.
knows, the owners come in, I've talked with her, she knows that we have until July, we weren't taking until July.
Hmm.
She's fine, she just said there are purchase and sale agreements. Contingent.
And you will contact them then?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Do it now before I forget.
And then, under miscellaneous correspondence, we were notified of the official Memorial Day Parade Tuesday, 5/26, lineup starting at 9:15 a.m., parade beginning at 10 a.m. at the Summer House Hill, down to the War Memorial on the town green, and then continuing in vehicles to the old cemetery and a short service at the new cemetery. No.
We're having a parade on Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day.
It's the day, it is Memorial Day.
Monday.
Monday is the 25th. Tuesday's the 26th.
What did I say?
There's gotta be a
Did I
It
typo.
say
says
that?
26th on there, but that's Tuesday Monday's the holiday.
That must be a typo. It's always on Memorial Day.
What's on
Right.
the application?
We approved that, didn't we?
I know. What did it say on the
I thought it
application?
We can go in a parade during work.
Wait a minute.
Where's the application?
Was
Where'd it
last
go?
year the 26th?
Yeah,
Yep.
Is
probably.
maybe.
Perhaps. Parade.
25th is Monday.
Oh, 25th, there you go.
Okay.
But this says 26th. My fault. And I said Tuesday because it was 26th.
Yeah, that's
So it is
exactly right.
5:25.
Glad we cleared that up.
Good catch. Or we're all gonna show up on Tuesday morning and no one's gonna be there.
I'll be at work.
Okay, good catch.
Be by myself.
Also.
And with no police cover, you're gonna get run over.
Hey, who's that guy walking down the road?
All by his lonesome. Haven, the dispensary that'll be opening soon, has a community outreach meeting scheduled for, let me check that, 5/20/26 at 7 PM at their location at 681 College Highway. That is to discuss their plans for medical marijuana sales. Anything else? Sudden rise of, okay. Then we need to acknowledge and approve executive session minutes from March 16 and 23 and April 6 and 27. So give us a few minutes while we read.
You wanna just do one at a time, or you wanna read them all at once?
Send them.
Send them.
In order so we can remember.
That's right, they are in order. You're picking up on this now, first, you're doing a good job.
Because you're doing a better job.
Oh,
Holy.
oh, wow. All right, then.
You just give me a pile.
I took the paper clip out for you.
I didn't get hurt this time.
Ready?
Yep.
I'll make a motion for the March 16th, March 23rd, and April 6th executive session minutes.
I only have one question, is I was not, I excused myself for one of them due to the insurance. So I don't know if we can
Okay,
vote
so
as a
Oh, that's
group.
right. yeah.
I'll do them one at a time.
I did the first one, not the 27th?
You were
First
not
one
here
you
when they were in person, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that would have been the 23rd, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I guess you gotta do those one at a time.
Okay, make a motion for the minutes of March the 16th.
Second.
Roll call vote, Dan Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes?
Russ Anderson, yes?
Make a motion for March 23rd as amended then.
I'll just abstain.
I'll make a note here that you left the room at
Right,
this
for
point.
that
Okay.
session, yeah. So, I'll second that.
Right.
Roll call vote, Dan Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes?
Russ Anderson, yes?
And I'll make a motion for the executive session minutes of April the 6th.
Okay.
Roll call vote, Dan Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes?
Russ Anderson, yes?
And I'll make a motion to table the minutes of April 27th, because I have a question I want to take offline. We'll come back to it for next Tuesday, if that's okay.
Yep. You wanna hand those
Yeah,
back?
I'll give these, there's notes in here with what I,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, and then acknowledge payroll warrant number 2626 dated May 4th, 2026, in the amount of $307,246.13. And then just a couple other things. We have elections tomorrow. Polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We were talking about next select board meetings. There's no regular meeting on 5/18. It'll be a consent agenda on 5/19 before the special town meeting and annual. Special town meeting begins promptly at 6:15 in the high school auditorium, followed by the annual town meeting. There's no regular select board meeting for Monday, May 25th, because that is the Memorial Day holiday. And I hope to see everybody back here at the regular select board meeting on June 1st.
And don't forget the spiff up was moved by a week
Oh,
to
yeah, I
this
forgot
Saturday
that. Yep, that's this
for
Saturday.
the land trust,
Yep, from 9 to 11,
till we're done.
till we're done. Anything else?
Do we have executive tonight?
We do. Anything else before we
Nope.
move on? Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
and then I need a motion to go into